Wellington is a thriving community known for its abundance of parks, quality schools, attractive neighborhoods, and outstanding quality of life. It's difficult to imagine that our great hometown was once nothing more than swampland. Thanks to the ACME Improvement District, the village was transformed from waterlogged land to fertile farmland. Strawberry fields and orange groves soon gave way to neighborhoods and the welcoming community we now call home. Today, we will share an overview of the ACME Improvement District, its function, and important role in our community. We will take a look at the Surface Water Management System, the 10-year ACME Renewal and Replacement or R&R project, and critical maintenance of the system. Let's start with a brief overview of the surface water system. The ACME Improvement District is a dependent special district originally created by the Florida Legislature in 1953 to provide necessary drainage, water management, and infrastructure development for the then new community that today is known as the Village of Wellington. Special districts like ACME collect revenue from non-ad valorem assessments. This means that the assessed amount is not based on the value of a property, but rather on the value of the services that ACME provides. These assessments do not duplicate services provided by any other municipality or district, and revenues can only be used for the purposes authorized by our legislation, such as roadway construction and maintenance, and surface water management construction and maintenance. Eventually, ACME became the local government for the area that is known today as Wellington. In 1995, when Wellington was incorporated, ACME became a dependent district. The two entities share the same governing board, with Wellington's council acting as the board of supervisors for ACME. ACME's responsibilities include the construction of new facilities as well as the operation and maintenance of existing facilities, including more than 33 square miles of drainage basins, 26,349 assessment units, more than 2,000 catch basins, more than 190,000 feet of storm sewer pipe, 86 miles of canal, 978 acres of lakes, 9 pump stations, 7 permanent control structures, and 965 acres of preserves. In simple terms, ACME's surface water management system is essentially a large retention basin. When it rains, the system begins to collect water within lakes and canals. If it rains more than we are allowed to discharge, which is just over 1 inch per day, then we are required to retain the additional water within the ACME stormwater system. A good analogy for this is the bathtub or sink effect. If you slowly open the faucet, the drain is able to handle the flow. But when the faucet is opened and the flow is increased, the bathtub or sink will begin to fill as the drain cannot handle the amount of water flowing to it. Wellington staff perform the administration of these functions along with consultants and contractors as needed. The 2006 Basin B Long-Range Water Quality Improvement Plan was the product of more than a decade of sound engineering and construction implemented under the partnership and cooperative efforts of the village with South Florida Water Management District and in coordination with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. The plan represented a major step toward conservation and protection of the natural resources and water quality in the Florida Everglades. Based on the final plan, South Florida Water Management District, through a memorandum of understanding with the village, funded approximately $33 million of the more than $45 million spent to implement the plan. The selected plan included rerouting stormwater runoff from Basin B to the north and then onto the C-51 West Canal and eventually into the South Florida Water Management District STA 1E, accomplished via additional pump stations and control structures. Creation of an environmental preserve, the Wellington Environmental Preserve at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas Everglades Habitat for flood protection, water quality treatment, and habitat creation. Enactment of ordinances covering fertilizer use and livestock waste. Public education on the proper use of fertilizer containing phosphorus. Public education on the proper management of equestrian wastes. Implementation of stormwater best management practices and programs for the improvement of water quality in stormwater. and implementation of a water quality monitoring program to track progress towards the goal of discharging water with less than 50 parts per billion of phosphorus into the C51 West Canal. In August of 2012, Tropical Storm Isaac moved across the village, dropping 14.6 inches of rain in just 3 days. The rainfall event caused extensive flooding. During the storm, the ACME drainage system worked just as intended. Excess stormwater was stored within the basin and no structural damage was reported. However, there was notable room for improvement, including multiple canals that were noticeable choke points, including the C2 Canal, the C23 Canal, and C9 Canal, along with several emergency evacuation routes such as Forest Hill Boulevard, South Shore Boulevard, and Big Blue Trace that were impassable. After the storm, village staff decided it was in the best interest of the community to study the storm event, the existing stormwater management system, and provide guidance to the village council for necessary improvements to the system. Shortly after the storm, the village engineer hired an engineering consultant to analyze the ACME system with the latest stormwater modeling software and data collected from our SCADA system during the storm. The findings and recommendations of this analysis were compiled into the 2014 amended Water Control Plan. The plan outlined improvements recommended by the village engineer and the consultant's guidance for system upgrades. Village leaders decided that the best way to pay for these improvements would be over time via a special tax assessment to the ACME Improvement District, and thus the 10-year ACME R&R program was created. The plan was approved on July 8, 2014. Now, almost a decade later, the program is nearing the end of its lifespan, and the final funding is set to arrive in fiscal year 2024. To analyze the effects of the improvements made and to further understand our stormwater management system, the village decided to revisit the stormwater model and input the latest data available for terrain, canal widths, culvert upgrades, and rain events that have been observed since the inception of the plan. We also upgraded the model to the latest interconnected channel and pod routing software, which is the industry standard for modeling MS4 systems or municipal separate storm sewer system, such as the ACME Improvement District. Village staff is proud of the improvements made to the stormwater system over the past 9 years. Notable projects include canal widening along the C2 and C25 canals, roadway improvements that include raising the grade above the 100-year floodplain along sections of Forest Hill Boulevard, South Shore Boulevard, 120th Ave, and Big Blue Trace. Culvert upgrades include the C13 and C8 at Forest Hill Boulevard, the C24D at South Road, C3 at Wellington Trace, the C12 at Big Blue Trace, multiple culverts along the C2 Canal, and additional culverts along the C23 Canal. In addition, some of our most recent projects include the C2 culvert upgrade, culvert replacement on Wellington Trace at C15, new culvert on South Road at C24D, and the 2022 ICPR Stormwater Model Update. Speaking of important projects, we are in the planning stages of the Pump Station 2 Rehabilitation Project. Pump Station 2 is located on the southwest corner of Wellington and the ACME Improvement District within Basin B. It was once the main pump station used to pump water out of the district. In later years, it has been used largely on an emergency basis during hurricanes and storm events, since water has now been redirected to mostly discharge into the C51 Canal on the district's northern border, parallel to Southern Boulevard. The Pump Station 2 Rehabilitation Project will include replacing the existing 3 diesel-powered pumps with 3 electric-powered pumps, increasing the existing capacity by approximately 15%. The project will also include the addition of backup generator power, which will allow the system to function even during a loss of power. In the past, the pumps needed to be turned on manually by sending operators on site during potentially unsafe conditions. This eliminates this safety hazard. The existing structure will be reinforced with new sheet piling, and the building and power will be upgraded to current standards. This will harden the existing structure and improve its resiliency. Reconstruction of this facility is of high importance to the ACME Improvement District because this facility acts as an emergency relief valve during high-intensity storms such as Tropical Storm Isaac. Wellington was recently awarded approximately $2.3 million in grant money to construct this project. With construction costs significantly on the rise, this will greatly extend the ability to do more R&R projects with the ACME budget. Throughout its more than 7 decades of existence, the ACME Improvement District has played an important role in our community. We hope to continue seeking funding through the ACME R&R project to further improve the surface water management system and ensure flood protection and mitigation for years to come.